I'm a little indifferent on this documentary that came out on Oxygen, and it's about Yolanda and Selena's secrets. And mind you, I've been on following what happened with Selena since day one and slowly over the years, especially in 2012 when this interview with this Dr. Ricardo came out. Now, at the time, I thought it was BS. I'm like, he's just, spelling lies. He wants attention. He wants the money. This documentary shows the receipts. This documentary shows evidence that's bothering me. And the problem is, being the son of a detective, I see things differently. I was taught to look at things differently. I don't see the glass half full. I was taught to look at what is the glass, what's in the glass, how much volume is in it, what material is the glass made of. Maybe that might obscure your vision and seeing the volume metrics in it. That's how I look at it. And that's how I'm looking at the evidence presented in this documentary. And it bothers me, one, as a fan, and also as somebody who enjoys filmmaking, because I saw how they filmed it. I saw how they styled it, recreating some of the death scenes, recreating what Yolanda said happened to her vehicle. So I'm not too much of a fan of the documentary because the family did not approve of this documentary. And maybe the father said something wrong because they really try and vilify the father. But this is how I look at it based on all the evidence from this documentary and from the 2012 interview with Univision. Here is my take on it. And I'm going to do a little bit of a rant here, so just hear me out. That it's bad. If this evidence is true, this is bad. It doesn't make anybody look good. All three of them look bad. Yolanda looks bad, one, for shooting her. That's what it is. Black and white. She admits it in this interview. 100% she says responsible. No one else shot Selena. It was her. She shot Selena as she struggled to open the door and walked out. As she was halfway out, she shot. That's why you see the blood splatter on the outside of the door and outside the motel. There is nothing inside. And as Selena ran out halfway towards the receptionist's desk, Yolanda went to aim the gun again in front of witnesses, and she put it down and called her bitch. Selena was one of my first crushes. And the problem I have is the evidence that they're providing in this documentary, because now it makes all three of them look bad. The documentary basically says that Selena did have an affair with this Dr. Ricardo while she was going to Monterrey, Mexico, and she was his plastic surgeon. He says that they fell in love. Yolanda said this back in 95. Everybody said she was crazy. And when the doctor was called in for questioning, he says, oh, no, it was just business. We were just business. And that was it. And then he comes out 2012 when his back is pressed against the wall about some supposed sex tape. Then he has to come out and say, no, this is the truth. And this is what happened. And now this evidence that Yolanda is providing with the plane tickets after March 9th. March 9th, if you don't know, that was the day that basically they all confronted her. That night they all confronted her, said, you're skimming off the books, you're embezzling, we don't want you here, stay the F away. However, March 11th, March 12th, Selena's calling her, leaving her messages. Yolanda has plane ticket receipts from Continental Airlines that she flew with Selena to Monterrey to see this doctor, Dr. Ricardo. So now both Yolanda and the doctor, now their claims are coming true. Now you must be saying, well, why didn't this come out during the whole trial? And I'm going to tell you why it didn't come out during the trial. Because you would have had a scandal and a murder in one. That's what happened. And now that Yolanda is coming towards one more year of getting out, because she's going to make probation next year, this documentary comes out trying to make her look... I don't know what the hell they were trying to do, because it doesn't make her look good. It doesn't make the doctor look good. And it doesn't make Selena look good, because now Selena's cheating on Chris. And what Yolanda is trying to prove in this documentary is saying that, Selena, made me in between. I had to hide this secret. I was telling her not to go at the doctor. And the doctor said that I hired these guys to follow her because I didn't trust her. So now you have two people that are manipulating Selena and trying to control her and get her love, which is bad, because now they're older than her. The doctor's almost her father's age. Yolanda is in her mid-30s with this 23-year-old, this young woman who's been shunned almost like Santa Barbara by the father. And she's a rebel. She's a rebel because look what happened. Oh, you can't date Chris. Do not date that band member. Do not fall in love with him. F you, I'm going to marry him. That's the type of personality I see from this young lady. She's an adult, but she's still young thinking. Again, when I was 23, God, was I unique-minded. I still am right now, but back then, no. And the thing that always bothered me is, do you know who the last person was that Selena called from her phone ever? Do you know who it was? Not her father, not her mother, the doctor, Dr. Ricardo. Not even Chris, who was asleep that day. And another thing too is like that day at the hotel, why not bring in Chris with you? Because if Yolanda's saying is true, is because they were talking about the extramarital affair and what was she going to do. Yolanda exaggerated a lot of things because the autopsy showed no pregnancy whatsoever, showed no abortion. The autopsy showed a lot of things. But it also showed that she did have plastic surgery. The autopsy showed that she did have plastic surgery on her by what the surgeon says, it was by him. If this evidence is true, if this evidence is showing truth, that means what they're trying to portray in this is that Selena could have avoided it. That somehow this was all because of Selena. Had Selena not gotten involved with the doctor, Yolanda would never been in the middle. Yolanda would have been able to quit and go to the job that she did apply for to be a nurse. She was hired to be a nurse somewhere else, so she was ready to quit. She had her resignation letter. And in the end, all this documentary does, it makes it look like it's because of sex, lies, manipulation, and an affair. All in one. It's just toxic. It makes everything look so toxic. I don't want to believe it, but again, 90% of it is BS. It's a golden bucket of BS towards Yolanda. However, there's 10% here that really makes you question, how did everything get to that point? And what don't we know? And is this evidence truly evidence? Is this proof that Yolanda was telling the truth about this extramarital affair? Did the doctor really send these people to follow Yolanda, which he admitted in the interview is true? So that caused her to be paranoid. All of this was just a big domino effect, one after the other. All because Selena was lying and hiding something from everybody. And she put her trust in the wrong people. She put her trust in this doctor, and she put her trust in Yolanda. The two wrong people. But that doesn't deserve anybody to die or get shot. I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm compromised. I'm so emotional right now. I'm so fed up with this documentary and the evidence and just all this toxicity and everything about Selena. Like fans look up to this person, and now you're like raking her name through the mud and you're providing evidence for that raking. It's just, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, no matter what anybody does or says, no matter how much digging gets done, if Yolanda even gets out of prison next year, it's never going to bring Selena back. You know what? I can't review this documentary. I can't. No, I'm done. Nope.